Hi guys, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot and welcome to your astrology for April. So I'm trying to figure out all different ways to make these videos a little bit more efficient, time efficient for you, for me, for everybody. So what I decided to do was create kind of an overall astrology video, pre-record it before every video. So that way, if you watch multiple videos, you can kind of just fast forward through that. There'll be timestamps below and within the comment of every reading. So I'll make sure to get the timestamps in. That way you don't have to watch this 12 different times and I don't have to say it 12 different times, which makes me super excited. So really cool stuff for April. I feel like this is a month I've been saying there's going to be a good month. I swear, in all of these, really dense and heavy months we've had for over a year now, everything has seemed very heavy. And April's going to come in and it's going to be like shot out like a cannon, okay? I'm picking up elements of like that northern hemisphere spring fever kind of stuff. Now, as I'm recording this, there's actually stuff going down with the spring breakers in Florida. And I think that kind of talks about the overall energy for April. Everybody gets to be let loose. There's a lot going on with the vaccines, so everybody's feeling a little bit more confident about stepping out socially. It's kind of like a purge. Now we've got so much action from Venus as she's starting this new cycle, which she's doing right now along with this entire last week of March, and she's really going to culminate with these moons on the Aries Libra axis this month. We're stepping into a lot of cardinal energy and we're bringing back the cardinal squares. It's a little bit of a tense time, but really in a good way. So Venus this month is kind of resetting our values and our priorities, right? But it's much deeper than the wanting. I feel like all year we've all been kind of like having ideas or like, oh, I didn't realize I kind of really do like this thing over here. I would be interested in doing this thing over here. But now it's actually in the way that you feel. So if you're in jobs or relationships or any type of situation that isn't really speaking to you, it's going to get uncomfortable now. The universe is going to make you uncomfortable now. Pluto steps in this month and he really wreaks some havoc on our values, on our ambition, on our relationships, and he questions, are we in the right place? And he teaches a lot of lessons and he's very intense. So there's all this flirty, fun energy. There's a lot of possibilities to meet some really profound people in our lives this month. We're working intensely with the nodes, so it's a very karmic month as well. And we have this dance all in the same sign. These planets are so active and there's so many aspects, and yet nothing that's, super heavy. Like I said, there's a lightness, there's a quickness this month. Things are going to move very quickly. So going through the month, we're starting out with the Venus sextile Mars, which is going to give you that feeling like you're ready to get back out in the world. There's something that's very confident, very sexy about this Venus sextiling Mars. It's very flirty, it's very communicative, it's very expressive, and it's very courageous. If you are looking to date or start new relationships, it's a really good month for the dating profiles, okay? Towards the end of the month, we've got some Sun, Uranus, Venus, Uranus aspects coming in, which literally can translate into meeting people over the internet. So it's kind of a good time. And not even just dating, but even if you're getting into like specialized groups or groups that kind of hone in on your interests, you could have a lot of luck meeting other people, like-minded people, people that kind of vibe on your level. They enjoy your stuff. It's kind of almost a resetting of the tribes in a way. So expect to meet new people. Invite that energy into your life. Now on the 9th, we've got Mars square Neptune, and this is a little bit of a hairy part of the month. There's an element of dishonesty, and it could even lead to disappointment, and this could be where we put some really high expectations on things, on people, and we get pretty disappointed. And it's okay, because the thing is, we're really learning to be, independent on our own and not searching for things within others. Now, we have Pluto going retrograde at the end of the month. So all month long, all planets are moving forward, full steam ahead. But when Pluto hits that point, it means we've got to reset psychologically. So you can expect April to bring in the situations that makes us feel the need to self-analyze. And this Mars square Neptune is going to kind of lead up to that self-analyzation. What are some of your bad habits? Because in April, you're going to want to jump into things. So if you're somebody who just kind of jumps into love, then you could probably expect some harsher lessons. People don't turn out to be who they said they would be. Jobs don't turn out to pay what they said they would pay. Things aren't going to meet your expectation. It's also a time where you could slip into some pretty negative thought patterns. There could be some paranoia that comes up, having an issue trusting people, misjudging situations. There could really honestly just be innocent miscommunications as well. So take a look at that energy. Again, it's going to be things that later on in the month you're going to really want to look at. Why do I do this thing? If you're somebody like, for example, you're dating and you tend to ghost people, obviously it's because there's something within you that makes you feel like you can't communicate your feelings. So you might be in a situation where you ghost somebody or somebody ghosts you, and you really have to look into why these situations are a recurring pattern in your life. Just, a random example. That's how that energy will play out. So then we roll into the 10th, and we've got Venus sextile Jupiter, and this is like one of the sexiest days of the year. If there is an opportunity to go on vacation, go out of town for the weekend with your partner or your friends, do it now. It could definitely talk about overindulgence. So, if you've been working really hard at paying down debt, this will be kind of the weekend where you're like, well, screw it, let's fly to Florida for the weekend and really rack up those bills again. So you want to be careful of that. You want to be careful of any kind of overindulgence, especially because we're still in that energy of Mars square Neptune. So careful about the people that you meet. Don't trust people that you don't know, okay? Kind of look out for your drinks. Keep yourself safe. Again, it feels sexy. It looks good. There's like a serious attraction, and yet it could disappoint us in the end. So just remember to love yourself and make good, safe decisions. We're rolling into the new moon now, mid-month, 22 degrees Aries. This is on the world point. I expect this to be kind of one of the bigger moons that plays out collectively. You're going to see a lot of action collectively as well. Probably not huge mind-blowing events, although the moons can bring that in. But like a lot of fast information, situations changing, the story changing, like this is true, no, that is true. Remember, we're in Gemini energy, so most likely both sides of the story are kind of true. If you recall back in last May, Venus was traveling through Gemini and she went retrograde. And I remember thinking to myself, when we're in Gemini energy, which I have a hard time with because I'm all earth and water, so the air energies are a little bit tricky for me. So I always try to remember the Tao at that time, like everything's about being balanced. Try not to feel too much, try not to get too invested, stay in the middle and remain calm. And so as this year rolled on, the nodes are in Gemini now. Mars is in Gemini. It's meeting the North Node. It's definitely a good time to keep that information in mind. It's always best, you know what's best. Separate from self, protect your energy when you have to, and trust your gut, trust your instinct, This new moon in Aries is all about trusting our instincts. Trusting, even when we're in bad situations, bad relationships, we're in bad jobs, some people tend to stay in that discomfort for a long time. That discomfort becomes their comfort. Anything that's familiar, we can get stuck in. Now, March had a lot of trine energy, and sometimes I think about that trine as where we build ruts. Well, we follow the path of least resistance, and the path of least resistance is just doing the same thing I always do. If I can avoid change and everything stays the same, then I don't have to deal with the drama. Okay, great, but then if you're not particularly happy with your life, you actually have to take action to change it. So March was kind of like oh, here's your ruts, here's where you're stuck. And April comes in and it throws a bunch of sextiles, a bunch of squares at us all month long. Boom, 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 every day. And it's like opportunity, something that needs to be broken through. Opportunity, breakthrough. Opportunity, breakthrough. And if you look at every situation that comes up this month as, okay, I'm not going to take it too hard on myself. I'm not going to beat myself up over this. I learned from it and move forward. If you're honest, if you communicate, you could probably skate through this month and really enjoy some of the nice opportunistic stuff that comes your way. If you get stuck in the rut, if you put your feet, if you really dig your feet in and refuse to learn the lesson, or, if you get an energy of refusing to say you're sorry, or refusing to discuss anything or talk about things, again, you're going to stay in that rut. You're going to stay in that rut as long as you want. Again, it's a karmic month, making karmic decisions. There is an element here of the things that you choose in April are pretty long term, especially the end of April. So we're rolling into these new phases. We're rolling into the new us. And ultimately, in this Aries energy, we really know what's best. We know at a soul level, and by that we start to actually repel some of the things that we may have attracted to ourselves in a lower vibration. Again, if you're dating people or in jobs where you're really unhappy and the energy is toxic, what you found tolerable will completely become intolerable. Like, you cannot stay there. This universe is making you super, super uncomfortable. Now, middle of the month, we roll into some Pluto energy. We've got Venus square Pluto, then the Sun square Pluto, and then Mercury square Pluto. Okay, a lot of energy into the transformation. Now, Pluto's still hanging out at the end of Capricorn. We've been going through this for a couple years. This is stuff that's lingering from 2020. It's things about the structures in our lives that need to change, and the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all making this square, the Pluto, are going to make them really apparent. Okay, this is the ruts, or this is why you stay in the ruts. If there are issues like self-worth issues, obsessive thinking issues, and Pluto can bring about like some pretty intense and fatal attractions as well, especially Venus square Pluto, I always call my fatal attraction. It can really point to how you are, and even with finances, those bad habits, those mistakes you keep making, Think about Capricorn, you think about Pluto, and I think the Devil card, and it's like those things that call to us, that thing that says, yeah, but you could just buy one more shopping spree, or have one more bottle of wine, or, one more night out. And it's always that voice that whispers, go ahead, you could do one more time. And it's really an area of ourselves psychologically that's holding ourselves stuck in these patterns. We have to start looking at them, and we have to start changing them. We have to start acknowledging them. At the same time, we've got Venus making connection with Chiron, so we're in this super healing energy. The things that you figure out, the things that bubble to the surface, the underlying control issues within your life, A lot of things can have control over us. It doesn't necessarily have to be people. You know, it could be an abusive relationship. It could be a sexual relationship that you stay in even though it's really not meeting any of your emotional needs. It's where you sell yourself short and you get stuck in the bad habits and you think too little of yourself to make the big changes so that your life can actually improve. There's no doubt we're going to be moving towards the better things, the healthier choices. So right now, the universe is going to point out all of the negative habits that we have. We have got to meet them head on. And again, a reminder that Venus in Aries is going to say, this time I'm going to value myself. So maybe you made decisions in the past where you kind of didn't stand up for yourself or you didn't want to create a confrontation. You know, Aries, Venus in Aries, no, there'll be a confrontation, no problem. It could even get really explosive. I'm going to tell everybody, watch your tempers mid-month. Watch the way that you talk to people. Watch the things that you say. This energy can kind of make you say things you really will regret, like the things that you can't take back. Yeah, it's an intense part of the month. It can also be really intense in a good way. If you are meeting somebody new in the middle of the month, please be careful, okay? Again, we're still in that Mars square Neptune. We've got the nodes squaring Neptune. You got to trust your gut instincts, not other people, okay? You could honestly meet people that are very powerful or kind of use their power negatively. People that are very manipulative, people that could hurt you financially, hurt you sexually. So you just want to be aware of those situations. You could meet somebody, there could be a really intense attraction, and then it could turn out to be, like a crazy Lifetime movie. So just be careful of that energy. Moving on into the middle of the month, we've got the Sun conjunct Mercury at 29 degrees. This gets really interesting. Not usually a big deal. The Sun makes a cazimi with Mercury multiple times a year. They travel very close. It's the degree that I find particularly unsteady. So at 29 degrees, Aries is, or was, for example, in America, the day that the Capitol was breached. It has that explosive, bubbling up energy. And because it's so close to all of this Pluto energy, you want to be careful of your surroundings, okay? This could be some kind of out of control, anger, rebellion kind of thing that we've got going on. And that starts around the 20th and it moves through the end of the month. So, you probably expect some sort of civil unrest. You could probably expect some kind of, protesting. Be careful in your neighborhoods. Just be careful of your surroundings. Sun conjunct Mercury at 29 degrees Aries also, in our personal lives is a great opportunity for you to really stand up for yourself. So if you're in negative relationships, in abusive partnerships, in jobs that take advantage of you, you're going to have the strength to say it. You're going to have the strength to change your environment here. So take advantage. This is just a starting point. We've got Venus conjunct Uranus, which brings sudden changes in, relationships and money. Now, this is kind of one of the times that Venus met Uranus in the sky was when that Robin Hood thing happened. So you could kind of expect something else like that. Now, it might just be a continuation of that story. We get a little bit more or something more happens in the stock market, but usually it's something collectively within the economy or, finances. So Venus conjunct Uranus in our personal lives is, meeting somebody out of the blue, breaking up relationships, it's sudden events like that you can't possibly predict, like a house catching on fire or, car accident. So, and I don't say that to scare anybody, but these are things that happen in our lives that in a split moment can change everything. And I think we're dealing with a lot of big decisions. And it's like that split moment when you make that decision that changes everything. It doesn't have to be scary. Sometimes Uranus brings some very positive developments. You know, it could also represent with the Pluto energy transformation instantly with money. So, you know, luck, gambling, winning the lottery, you know, things that transform your life forever. So then at the end of the month, we have Venus square Saturn, and this can carry an element of isolation and loneliness. I am kind of leery of something happening where we kind of have to shut back down. I don't see it being a long stint, but there might be a pullback of energy. Now, the Venus square Saturn is the pulling back. So if you've had a crazy April, you went on vacation, you spent a lot of money, you bought new clothes, because God knows we've all been like in our sweatpants for a year. So it's kind of exciting to go out and buy new clothes, right? And have plans and go and see people, meet people and date. Like, that's fun. And then like the credit card bill comes and on the 25th, 26th with that full moon, 7 degrees Scorpio, again, another financial placement, another world point, ironically. Again, more financial developments, of course. Venus is going to move, you know, her way into some pretty crazy transits in the next few months. So you can expect stuff with the economy to really be unstable. Remember, if you want to keep a leg up on things, get some money in savings. Be careful with your money. Be careful with your investments. I know it's fun and we all deserve to have a good time this month, but there is always consequences. And when Pluto goes retrograde at the end of the month, like I said, that's a credit card bill. That's the consequences. So you can expect that to come in. And then there's like the reconciling with that full moon. In Scorpio, it's intense and it's deeply rooted. And whenever we have moons coming up in any of the fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio, you can expect some more big changes. This is the element. Again, everything was in Aquarius when the Capitol was breached, and that kind of changed everything forever. So, guys, we're in such an element of change. It's really important for me to point out, I know a lot of us are like, all right, I'm ready. I'm really ready for life to take off. I'm ready for these things to happen. And I think it's really important to understand that there's like not a lot you can do right now. Pluto's making all of these squares. You really don't have control. The universe has control. It's really, you know, if you've been manifesting, if you've been doing the work, this is where you're like, all right, I have faith. The universe is going to bring it in, you know, the Hierophant card, Taurus card, and you have faith and it works. But if you've got a lot of deep-rooted doubts, self-worth, value issues, lessons that you have to learn, guys, we're not in an element of settling. Uranus will not let us settle for any of the things that we settled for in the past. We're changing and we have to allow the changes to come in. So it's a really beautiful month, guys. It's super exciting. Just be careful and take care of you. Most important this month. Know your surroundings and take care of yourself. All right, guys, let's get started on the cards. Hello, Aries. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot, and welcome to your cards for April. Happy birthday. What a wonderful month to have a birthday. You were probably one of the first signs like to have the birthday during the lockdown last year, so hopefully you are in an environment in which you can get out and enjoy. It's been a long year, so yeah, hopefully you can celebrate in some way with people that are special to you, as many people as you want, maybe even maskless, who knows. Guys, April's a really big month for you. I'm looking at your astrology, I'm looking at these cards, and I myself feel actually a little overwhelmed. I think it's gonna be it's a month for growth, for sure. We've got the big squares that are occurring between Mars and Neptune, which is your 12th house, 3rd house, And then the Venus-Pluto squares, which is the first house and the 10th house. You've got a new moon in your house and a seventh full moon in your 8th house. So big month as far as your destiny, your path, and your overall life changing. I see 3rd house and I see 12th house. I'm looking at your cards and I see the very center of the reading is the moon card, and I'm thinking there are things hidden that may come out this month. And maybe for some of you it feels a little like that's worst case scenario. Maybe it feels like that's your worst nightmare. And yet I think as you edge into the energy of April, it feels almost as if it would be a relief if these things would just come out into the open, if you could be more authentic. Now, what I do like is that you are coming out as the messenger of earth. I was a little surprised to see this, honestly. I thought, okay, it's Aries season, it's Aries time. I'm expecting a little bit of fire coming through these cards. And yet they are very watery and earthy. Now, with that, I get a transmutation kind of energy, like the environment is transforming before you. And that's why I like a messenger of pentacles. I like it because it tells me that there is a learning curve to April. It also tells me that we're planting new seeds, and that's really important to always, always, always tap into the energy of the new when we are going through periods of time where things are kind of out of our control, okay? There's a point that you get to in life where you can't make this thing work. You can't make this relationship work. You can't make this job be different than what it is. And I see with the messenger of pentacles, there is an element of groundedness and acceptance. Your environment is that of the high priestess. And oftentimes in a reading, especially when she comes out in the environment space, I see this as an energy of there being secrets, again, much like that moon card. And of course, when the moon and the high priestess comes out, it means that there are things coming to the surface. Now, it could be secrets. 12th house, square 3rd house is kind of the finding out if you've been involved in affairs or underhanded activities in some way, if you've been involved in third-party situations. If there is something that you are feeling a little bit guilty about this month, or something that you feel trapped in, kind of a web in some way, it will deconstruct in April. And the thing is, I certainly don't want you to listen to this reading and begin to have a panic attack over what could happen. When I see the cards the way that they are, it's almost as if this whole scenario or the situation is kind of welcomed. Now, I say that because next to this messenger of earth, first card out is the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is always this energy of like self-imposed imprisonment, usually within our mind. So if there's been like the thing that you did that you don't want anybody to know about, and so you invest all this time and energy covering your tracks, or I just feel like this 8 of Swords is exhausting. And this is also that place where you kind of hold yourself small, you hold yourself back. If you're talking about going back to school, or going back to work, or changing jobs, 8 of Swords energy can oftentimes be like, yeah, but you're not qualified, or you would never make enough money, or you would never find that dream house, or, all the reasons why it can't happen. Eight of Swords can be that fear, that paralyzing fear within us. Now we're going through a lot of squares with Pluto, so yeah, fears are gonna come up, and fears can be a million different things. Like you could fear what it's gonna do to your social life. You could fear what your coworkers are gonna think. You could fear what your family is gonna think. Ultimately, this thing that you don't want to come out, I think little by little keeps you in a cage. Right next to that card is the Queen of Cups in reverse. The thing is, you don't love this thing. When I see a Queen of Cups in reverse, it gives me that feeling of being very manipulative with the energy, manipulative with the nurturing. And ultimately, you know, you could do this to yourself. Now, if we're talking about you, you know, if this doesn't reflect a relationship in your life and we're just talking about like all of the reasons why you can't or won't ever be able to do those things that you love, this Queen of Cups in reverse is going to make you move. It's going to kind of kick you out of this rut, this comfort zone. Now, I say that because right under this Messenger of Earth, which is very rooted, it's very practical, you know. Messenger of Earth probably in this energy isn't going to go off on any exotic vacations or start any new businesses or projects or plans. It's more of like a careful consideration, making of plans, a to-do list, an outline of what you want to do. And I see that with this wombat spirit, be at home. And I'm feeling a very kind of Virgo-esque earthy vibe. And it feels as if ultimately this is a journey towards your new foundation. Now, I'm not sure that you realize what this is as it is happening. There's a lot of murkiness. There's a lot of, I don't really understand what's going on. I don't really understand how other people feel. There's a lot of unknowns that you're operating in. And so this Queen of Cups in reverse, if this is you, this is really, it's not healthy energy. It could mean that you're pouring from an empty cup, meaning you're not really taking care of or valuing yourself. If you are exhausting yourselves to try to make relationships work, it's not going to work. You know, and if you're coming at something like trying to force something to work, you may be manipulating it without even realizing that you're manipulating it. It's just out of this place of I don't know what to do if this thing were to leave my life. But I like that you're the Messenger of Earth, and next to this High Priestess is this Three of Pentacles. Now, I've got to be honest, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a third party situation going on in some way. It doesn't have to be, an affair, but it can be. It could just be gossiping with people. It could be talking behind people's back. And this is a valuable lesson. It's a valuable lesson, and I feel like because you are the Messenger of Earth, you might be kind of knocked down ego-wise this month. Probably going to realize you don't have a lot of control over the situations. You can't stop this information from coming out. You can't stop these feelings from coming to the surface. And the Three of Pentacles, yes, can represent that third party that you are finding out about next to this Two of Cups, or somebody else in your environment is going to find out about maybe a shady situation that you've got going on. You have to be careful this month because your mind can really play tricks on you. And at the same time, it's probably playing tricks on the people that you're involved with as well. Again, I mentioned in the astrology part of the video that Venus square Pluto can really bring kind of an obsessive quality into your emotions, and it could make you really jump to conclusions and believe them. Like you don't have solid evidence, or this person doesn't have solid evidence, and yet they are convinced that this is a whole story and they know exactly what's going on. And so this can lead to overreactions as well. The Three of Pentacles is going to warn you to pay attention to your foundations, meaning you can't sacrifice yourself. There are probably other people involved. Maybe if you are in a marriage, there are children that you are concerned about. You know, probably with this Three of Pentacles, overall, your energy is kind of not thinking so much about you, thinking more about the bigger picture. If you have, you know, participated in a third party situation and you're thinking, yeah, but I can't let this get out because even though I'm really not happy in my marriage, it's going to affect my children's lives. And that's the very practical energy of that messenger of Earth. Does represent the energy of Virgo, which is the care and concern for others in your environment. Because we're getting this be at home, your concern seems to be the comfort of your home and the environment. Underneath this Eight of Swords, we have the Star card. Aquarius. Saturn is in Aquarius. Jupiter is in Aquarius. We're making a lot of sextiles over to Venus and Aries. There's opportunities for healing among you. There is opportunities to free yourself from this Eight of Swords. Now, Aquarius energy is very much about the truth. And the Venus energy is all about getting to the truth. When you get to the truth, you get back to yourself. The Star card is an energy, you know, it doesn't surprise me with Venus coming up and making a conjunction with Chiron. We're bringing up these wounds, you know, these fears. We're facing them head on and we're healing the karmic cycle surrounding it. And because we've got Mars moving through such a communicative sign and we have Venus moving through such an expressive sign, really everybody's going to be expressing their authentic self. It's going to be hard to wear that same mask. It's going to be really difficult to pretend that things are kosher, you know. It's going to be really hard to keep it together in front of the kids, I'm just saying. And so if there is a release, if there is a finding out, you almost start to realize how much better and freer you would feel. As well, I see the Star card as a point of destiny. And for some of you, you might have taken this situation as far as it's really meant to go. This thing, which is likely a larger commitment in your life, probably a marriage partner, significant other, or a job that you've been at for a long time. Bottom of the next card underneath that, I'm sorry guys, the Star card underneath the Star card is a Hierophant card. And it's all about the truth. And next to the Hierophant card, which is reflective of that commitment, which you may be appearing to want to heal this month or work on or keep it going in some way or avoid the truth of the matter. But right next to the commitment card, we have the Void of Course Moon card. So that's why I'm saying that there seems to be a relationship of some sort or a situation in your life that has just reached the end point. Relationships are not meant to stick around in our lives forever. First of all, it's one of the most profound ways that we learn who we are, through relationships. And when you are healthy and you are thriving and doing the introspective work, working on yourself, when you're asking yourself, why are these patterns repeating? What am I doing wrong? What am I fixing? What am I going to do differently this time? There's an opportunity, you know, one door closes, another door opens. This is how we're meant to grow in life. Things are meant to come to an end. And there's kind of a gracefulness with the Star card. There's kind of a temperance. And it's almost as if the universe is asking you to look at this differently. What starts out as the worst case scenario, like I said, like that nightmare situation coming true, actually turns out to be that thing that frees you to become the new you. Now, next to that Star card, center of the reading, is the Moon card, right next to the Seven of Cups, and this is super Neptune vibes. We've got a lot going on here. The Moon and the Seven of Cups, definitely indicating to me that the details are sketchy. Like I said, you may have somebody in your life that's really accusing you of things or feeling really insecure. Maybe these feelings are coming up for you. Maybe you are the one who's feeling insecure in your relationships. Now, the Star card, the Moon, and the Seven of Cups, these are all very ethereal things to me. First of all, it's all very watery and kind of delusional, right? And I think there's probably going to be a period of time in April where you might feel like everybody else is going out and having a good time and you're kind of stuck in. Now, the Moon can kind of make you get in your feels, and it could kind of make you want to binge on Netflix and eat bowls of ice cream and, you know, shut your phone off. So, I mean, maybe that's all this is. Maybe this is a knowing that you've got to take some time to do some healing. The Moon card represents, what are we attracting? Why are we attracting these situations? Is there something darker within us? And because we tie that part of us with shame or guilt, that we attract these situations to us. You know, there's something that's so much deeper than what's on the surface. And the Seven of Cups is going to tell me that there's a lot of different ways that you could go in this situation. There's a lot of different choices. And I can promise you that there's going to be moments where you really don't know how to navigate this. What happens when you can't control or navigate a situation? What happens when Queen of Cups in reverse, you are exhausted? Exhausted from trying to make it work, exhausted from covering your tracks, exhausted from feeling broken. This feels broken to me. There's a lot of stuff going on in these couple of cards that brings up elements of trust. And it's almost, I pick up with the Seven of Cups, like you're looking back on all of these past situations, past relationships, and you're really taking a minute to see yourself clearer. Now, I will tell you guys that this would probably be a good time to seek, you know, a spiritual healing in some way, a psychic reading. Don't spend a lot of money. Like, anything that you hear take for the greater advice in you. You know, no psychic should ever say, oh yeah, he cheated on you. Oh yeah, they did this. Oh, you know, we can't see that. You have to know. You have to trust yourself. So it's a waste of time trying to get the details of what happened or trying to cover up the details of what happened. That's all a waste of your energy. What your energy needs to be focused on is why it happened, why you did that thing, or why your partner did that thing, or why you guys are hiding this. And I think the answer you get to, I think the overall energy of all of this is this 9 of coins. Now, you seem to be on a mission, whether you realize it or not, which I pick up with that moon card and the high priestess, that maybe you're like in the middle of a situation, you don't know what the hell you're supposed to be learning. You don't even know how you got here. The universe just kind of threw you into this whirlwind situation, and you're doing the best you can with what you got, right? With the tools that you have. But you're getting new tools in April. We all get a whole new set of tools in April. We all learn these really valuable lessons, and then we carry them on to the next thing, and we're all the wiser for it. Next to the 7 of Cups, and next to this 9 of Coins, which represents you, this is pre-Empress card for me, meaning that even as life might feel like it's falling apart or it's kind of dissolving, maybe there's relationships or contracts in your life that are quite literally dissolving in front of your eyes, it is all to make you realize your worth, your foundations, what is of value to you, and how do you value yourself. And you make the adjustments from there. The 9 of Coins is such an independent energy. This is like, I don't have to put up with anybody's bullshit, or if I'm not happy, I don't have to stay here. Regardless of how other people are affected, my happiness is important. So I love that this shows up at the bottom of the deck. Underneath this card is the 5 of Cups and the Lover's card. So yeah, there's a looking back. There's a looking back at what you've been through, what you've gone through so far. I mean, maybe you're 20, maybe you're 50. Who knows? We've all on like this cycle of learning all these relationship lessons. And at this point in the month, there's a looking back and maybe a lot of ways where you're saying, why did I sacrifice myself like that? Or why did I give that person so much of my energy? Or why did I get sucked up in that situation? Now, I love that next to the 9 of Coins is this empowerment card, which is ultimately the whole point of the whole situation. Empowerment. When you ask the divine to take over, you get pulled into your own authentic power. It's a force of inner love that wants your wholeness and magnificence. Unfold my true and radiant self, dear Lord. There are things that are unfolding, that are showing you how strong you truly are. And I think that might be that one thing, that 8 of Swords, that you didn't realize you had. That's a tool that you get, is that you are strong enough to get through this on your own. Now, next to this commitment card, the Wise One, the Hierophant, we have the Page of Coins and the 2 of Wands. Yeah. Okay. Let's check those expectations, right? So whether this is you or the other person, clearly somebody's had some indiscretions. And it's a valuable time for you to really look at this relationship, why you were in it in the first place, like I said. And I think you're going to realize that you want to go it alone for a little while. You know, it's like if I have to choose between a commitment and being strong, even if I have to, you know, even if I'm going to lose money financially, even if I have to leave that high-paying job in order for me to be healthy, you know, mentally healthy, physically healthy, if I have to leave a relationship because I'm super unhealthy in this one, there seems to be a thing that you are losing interest in. When I see 2 of Wands, so like 3 of Cups is wanting to build with somebody. 7 of Cups is like, maybe I don't want to build with this person. And 2 of Wands in reverse is like, hell no, my ass is out of here. Not building on this. Just for an example. Maybe there's somebody that's creeping into your life who is in a commitment, and for a minute, and believe me, with all this Venus Pluto stuff, you could get sucked into those situations really easily, and then you're like, whoa, I don't want to touch this mess at all. So I like the energy, I like the overall stuff, and I like the feeling that you're breaking through from some of this heavier feeling. There's definitely healing here. And the last card out is card number 35, breaking down to an 8, leading up to this 8th house full moon at the end of the month. Loyal heart. Listen, we don't own other people. We don't own the journeys. Probably shouldn't judge ourselves so much when relationships aren't fulfilled, when we're feeling lonely or, like things aren't working. Our humanness can make us do some stupid stuff. We're only human. And I think that loyal heart is definitely, especially coming out underneath this empowerment card, an indication that you have to learn first that you have to be loyal to yourself. If you're learning lessons around, maybe not listening to the red flags, now you've got to deal with the loss. Now you got to deal with the pain. Maybe this is a lesson in procrastination. Maybe instead of getting swept away in another situation, you should have dealt with the commitment. You should have told that person how you're feeling. You should have told your person that you wanted to get out. You should, like all of those things in your mind. And you might be swinging back and forth between guilt and wanting to be free. I feel that very strongly for you. Loyal heart also tells me not to be too hard on yourself because there's something better. There's something more that you're supposed to experience. There's another type of love that you're supposed to experience. And probably there's another soulmate that's going to head your way once you get through this. But we're going to be forced with the end of the month, with all of this Uranus conjunctions, we're going to be forced to make the changes. When we make the changes, we want to make sure we're embracing things that are healthy for the new us, the things that we value, the lessons that we learned. Really beautiful month this April, Aries. I'm going to leave it there. Beautiful reading. I will be back for the lunations at some point during the month. If you are sticking around, please remember to hit the like button. Definitely lost a lot of views, not getting many. I don't think my video is being suggested. So the comments and the likes really do help to distribute the video and get the messages out there for those people that need to hear them. Guys, keep in mind more than anything that you are in a month of empowerment. So you've got to trust yourself and you got to believe in yourself and you got to know that you deserve exactly what you desire and you've got to move towards it. All right. Have a wonderful month, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.